What's going on YouTube? Another knife review. This is the Zero Tolerance 0350. This is, if you've seen any of my other reviews on the Zero Tolerance, these are knives that I thought were too big for my hands, and so I always steered clear of them. And then I finally got my hands on I believe a Zero Tolerance 0301. This is after many months of collecting and getting my hands on some pretty large knives, and after the 301 all of a sudden became a knife that wasn't all that big, wasn't all that overwhelming or anything like that. So yeah, so anyway, I started to have this love for zero tolerances, and again, I didn't like them before, but the 350 quickly became one that I really wanted to get my hands on because of all the favorable reviews on it. I'm a titanium junkie, and inside here are stainless steel liners. So I avoided this for a while, but after I started developing this love for flippers too. And one thing with flippers, recently, you guys have heard me talk about my hoe back. The flipping action on here right now is terrible, and I'm gonna send it in, and Jake is I think gonna kind of fix me up here, kind of change out the bearing system and all that kind of stuff. And I love this knife. I absolutely love this knife. And once Jake gets it fixed up in terms of the flipping, I don't know why I've really just balked at sending it in, because I love having this knife on me. But I am going to send this in for sure. But the flipping action, that was the first time it's actually flipped out all the way. Of course on camera. Wow, right now it's like actually flipping out. Yeah, that's what it usually is. Wow, the darndest thing just happens on video. Anyway, so that's what it's usually like. That's even further than what it usually is. Usually it gets out to be like right here. Anyway, so the flipping action has not been that great. That's why I started, I love the 0560 because, it just flips out like a dream. But in some senses I feel like it's cheating because it's got the KVT system in there, so it's kind of like an assisted thing. The 301 series also, that had a assist system. It's got this bar, the Kershaw Speed Safe system, and the 350 has that in there. So the assist and Speed Safe is something that I didn't wasn't all that jazzed about. I had a Kershaw Leak that had that, and I just didn't think it was a really good system. When you had it open and you shake it, it kind of rattles inside, so it's not it's not something that's in terms of fit and finish. I mean, it works as a spring system, and that's about it. And anyway, so again, Jay Davis did a video on the 0350 saying that you can just take this out, and the action on this knife is so smooth and the detent is pretty good that you can just flip it out, and there you go. That was unspeed safe assisted, and no spring in there at all. Again, I can show you right there. And just push it down, and it is so smooth. It just glides super easy. No blade play whatsoever, no up and down. This knife is a dream to flip. It's probably one of my smoothest flippers outside of my Hinder XM18, which I will be doing a review of momentarily. Titanium front scale. That's my grail, and I'll talk about that in a sec. But these, so the fact that I could take the Speed Safe out and it's completely manual, I can use the thumb studs, I can use the flipper really well, and it just flicks out so easily. S30V, it's got this mild recurve in it, G10, and for all intents and purposes, it's a pretty light knife. You know, 3.25 inch blade steel, designed by Ken Onion. It's just a very comfortable blade, relatively thin profile as well. For all intents and purposes, you know, compared to a 551 here, the 551 is a little bit thicker than this knife. I think you can tell. This lighting is really dark in here. It used to be a lot brighter, I felt like. Anyway, so I really, really like this knife. The jimping on here, it maybe is the only thing that's, yeah, some of the recent zero tolerances I've gotten have really, really hard cut jimping. The 360, I'm sorry, man, the 560 has very hard jimping. Kind of grinds up your fingers when you flip it out. I did file these down so it's a little bit smoother, a little more bearable when you flick it out. I might do that to this, but in general, because the flipping is so easy, you know, it's pretty nice, and it really holds your thumb in. Just a quick size comparison. You know, this is my CQC 13 Emerson. Just an awesome blade. This is by, you know, one of my favorite blades, favorite EDC blades. This has, man, I've carried this so much. Such a great blade. 551 here again. In terms of size comparison, slightly larger blade, maybe about 0.25 inches, so a quarter of an inch longer. Here's my Spyderco Titanium ATR. This is a really cool blade too. Don't carry it enough in my rotation. And then the Sebenza large. So, you know, it measures up pretty well. You know, 3.25 is kind of like the happy medium between, for me, between, you know, too small and perfect EDC. I think for me, a small Sebenza is just a little bit too small for my liking. I do have this Three Sisters Forge Beast here, which I think is the perfect kind of small EDC for me. It's got a thicker blade stock than the small Sebenza, so it's just a little bit more capable than the small Sebenza. So this is about as small as I like to get for my EDC. So this knife, you know, is just really comfortable in the hand as a manual opener. Not that you really had to worry too much about speed safe opening up on you, but just in case anything were to engage in the flipper, I know it's not going to pop open in my hand. I think it only happened once with my 0300. Not a big deal. But again, you know, this knife is such a joy to flip. Perfectly centered, as you'd expect from zero tolerance. You know, bright contrast with the steel liners and all that kind of stuff. But it's not, you know, not a big deal with the thumb studs and all that kind of stuff and the hardware. It looks pretty good, I think, in my opinion. So the recurve is good. It really catches on things as you cut it. Good belly on this blade. Surprisingly, actually, that I've noticed, you know, this is a pretty thin blade stock, from what I can tell. I think it's, I want to say maybe 0.125 inches. So the same that you would see on Emerson or Sebenzas. It looks about the same as a 0.125. So it's not too thin, but it's definitely thinner than what I've come to expect from zero tolerance. You know, 551 I think is at 0.15, maybe even 0.165 inches. So yeah, so this is a slightly thinner blade than what you'd maybe be accustomed to for zero tolerance. But you know, all the same, it is a smaller blade. So the only other zero tolerance that I've seen is the 0200, which has got the 154 cm blade. It is a larger blade. That one also flips out like a dream. I got a chance to handle that one at a local knife store, and that's a pretty cool knife too. So it's got a larger recurve, larger belly, and all that kind of stuff, and a much, I don't want to say much more ergonomic, because this grip is definitely ergonomic, but it's got a very long kind of flowing handle. So anyway, the 0350, this is a great EDC blade for the price point at around 110, 120 maybe. I got this for a pretty good deal, below that number, but you know, it's definitely a worthwhile blade to check out. So anyway, if you're looking for a good manual flipper, you know, just take this bar out and you're good to go. This thing is super smooth, and you're not going to have any problems flipping, whether it's thumb stud or what. So anyway, check out the ZT-0350. Is a great EDC blade. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye.